Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video game review. And for this review, I'm going to be taking a look at Monster Hunter, forget it right there, Monster Hunter World for the PS4, also available on the Xbox One, though. The Monster Hunter series, as far as I can tell, has been a niche series up to this point, at least here in the West, though. Over in Japan, it's like extremely popular, and every time a new entry is sold, it sells very well. I think there are some entries that don't do well, but there are some that do. I believe it originally started out on the PlayStation 2 before it eventually became, at a certain point, an exclusive for Nintendo system on the Wii, and then the Wii U, and then of course on the 3DS though. And we finally got another entry, this time bringing it over to the PS4 and Xbox One, much to the dismay of some Switch owners as well, which I'll get to at the end of that one. So how does the game play though? Well, while I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter fan though, I will say this is probably the first time ever I got invested in this one, and felt like it was more approachable than it was in the past. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons? Let me get my notes out first. Alright, and we'll start first with the pros though, and the first pro is the monsters. Obviously the big selling point is basically in Monster Hunter World are the monsters, and I have to say that the monsters that I have encountered in the game are actually very impressive though. I've seen some that look ranging from one that looks like a T-Rex to one that looks like a giant lizard and so on, but the monsters themselves are obviously the selling point of the game, and they are probably the most impressive part of Monster Hunter World that I've seen so far. The next one is basically that this is a game that can be played both single or multiplayer though, and I think that's very good. When you start up a game, and although I've read that Capcom didn't really do a good job with this though, before you start a quest, you can choose to bring in other players as well, or you could play it just as a single player only experience, which is great though. I mean, yes, there might be some cases where playing it online with other players might be helpful though, but if you ever wanted to engage in a single player experience like I have so far, you could do that in this game, and I think that's really appreciated that they did that though. I'm not sure if you could play this offline, although there are some articles that point out that it is possible you could do that though, but I'm glad that you could play this either as a single player or a multiplayer kind of experience. And last but not least though, there are some improvements they made over the past Monster Hunter game. Two examples that at least I could think of though. I could be wrong on this, and I'm sure there are other examples. If there is, just write it in the comment section, let me know. As that is that one, every time you use your weapon though, its duration or durability sort of drops down and all, and you have to sort of make it sharp again though. In the past though, you have to buy these stones to do it, and every time you use one, you use one up. Here you don't do that at all though. Same with the pit, you use to cook the meat when you're basically out in the field though. Again, I think you have an infinite amount of this one, although it still follows which is similar to past Monster Hunter games, in which you have to listen carefully to when the music ends to pull the meat off the pit though. Do it too early, you'll get a raw meat. Do it too late though, and you have a burnt meat though. And of course, I noticed that with the stamina meter this time around, it doesn't seem to take, or at least based on the weapon I played so far, I've used a sword and a shield and a bow gun in the game so far. It takes up your stamina meter, unlike I think in past Monster Hunter games as well. So, yeah, I believe so. It's when you use your weapon and all. So there are some nice improvements they made for Monster Hunter World that I think is good, and I think that is certainly approachable to, I think, some newcomers who may have never played the series before or may have been turned off in the past. So I'm glad they made some improvements to some of the past Monster Hunter games out there as well. So that certainly is a good thing. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to the cons. So we'll take a little break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our review of Monster Hunter World for the PS4. This review is based off the PS4 version, also available on Xbox One. But I forgot to mention, if you're interested in some gameplay footage of me playing it though, I'll have a link in the description. You can check that out as well. So now that we got the pros out of the way, why don't we get to the cons? So let me get my notes out again though. Okay, so as far as the cons go, I'll start with the first one, and that is that the tutorial in the game, and there's a lot of it though, it can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes because there's a whole lot of information to digest and all, and that might be a bit troubling for some people. I'm not saying that it will impact everybody though, but it can feel a little bit overwhelming when trying to get all the information of all the stuff that can be done and all. Eventually I got around and understand everything that was being done in terms of some of the side quests and so on, but it can be a bit overwhelming, and that could be an issue for some people though. The next one I do want to talk about is the visuals in the game, and to me the visuals are kind of a hit and miss though. As I mentioned earlier, the monsters in the game were like impressive and all, and they still are. I think those are like the highlights so far of the game. But there are some times when the game doesn't look as impressive as it should be. Certainly some of the character models don't look exactly that great. Some of the environments are kind of a mixed bag, though. I mean, it doesn't look awful. It's not a terrible looking game by any stretch, though. It's still a good looking game. And I'm not saying the game looks bad or anything. It's just that the visuals in the game, at least based on my time with it on the base PS4, however, it's sort of a hit and miss in some areas. So the visuals sometimes are good and sometimes they don't look so good. And like I said, this is based off the PS4 version, the base PS4, not the PS4 Pro or anything like that. And last but not least is the camera and the lock-on though. While it's nice that they have a lock-on in the game, sometimes it can be a little bit problematic though. Sometimes you have like one of the monsters moving so quickly that the camera will get into an angle you don't want it to be in, and it can be a little bit annoying when you have to hit the R3 button on your PlayStation 4 controller to basically, not only like turn off the lock on, but basically to switch to maybe other monsters to lock on in the area. It can be a little bit problematic sometimes. So the camera and the lock-on can be an issue, though. It doesn't overall hurt the game or anything like that, though. Eventually I got used to it, though, but it can be an issue for some people, though. So I just want to point that out as well. Overall, Monster Hunter World is certainly a good game indeed, though. I do like the monsters in the game are extremely impressive. The gameplay is still fun. I found perfect weapon that I want to go with, which was the sword and shield and the bowgun as well. And I like the fact that the game can be enjoyed in either both a single player or a multiplayer kind of experience though. I do think there are some little hiccups here and there, but I will say it's the first Monster Hunter game I have really invested some time in this one. Those who are new to the series, I would say give this one a try though. I think I found it to be a bit more approachable than past Monster Hunter games though. Veterans of the series will probably enjoy it as well, so overall, it's definitely worth a try as well. Before I end this video, I do want to talk about how there's been a little bit back and forth in terms of some controversy regarding if a Switch version will happen or not, or anything like that. And recently, I think Capcom made a statement saying that they by the time I think the Switch came out, though, that they were already heavily invested in the PS4 and Xbox One version. They're not sure if this version could be ported over and all that stuff. And I can understand to some degree if this is correct, though, what Capcom is saying, but at the same time, this is the same company that said when, excuse me, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challenger, sold, I think, like 400,000 copies and did very well. they said they were looking to they said they would develop more for the Switch. Then they backtracked, said they're going to look into it. Then there's the whole Monster Hunter X debacle where the game was sold in Japan, but they never brought it over here, or they haven't made any statements, and there was some backtracking and all that stuff. I really think Capcom kind of put themselves in the corner on this one, though. I mean, I could somewhat understand if this game right here could be a problem in terms of porting it over to the Switch. Then again, given how Panic Button was able to port Doom over, not the perfect version, but still able to pull it off, I kind of feel a little bit iffy about that, though. But I will say this: if Capcom's not going to bring Monster Hunter World to the Switch, then either I think A, they should bring Monster Hunter XX over here to the West, though, or B, create a whole new Monster Hunter game exclusively for the Switch, and maybe take some of the items, take some of the gameplay mechanics from Monster Hunter World and add it to the Switch version, though. So either way, I think Capcom could do that, though. So yes, I can understand Capcom's perspective in some ways, but at the same time, I kind of think, given some of their past statements and some of it basically pissing off Nintendo fans, though that's debatable at least, kind of feel they kind of boxed themselves in the corner with this one, though. But I think that if they do, I would be open if they were to bring Monster Hunter World to the Switch. If not, perhaps create a whole new monster game exclusive for the Switch. Take some of the gameplay mechanics from Monster Hunter World and see if it could be applied to like an exclusive Monster Hunter game for the Switch. At least that's how I see it, though. Okay, this concludes this video of my review of Monster Hunter World for the Nintendo Switch. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Monster Hunter World? I'm sorry, Monster Hunter World for the PS4. My bad. I said the wrong one, though. I mean, again, what are your thoughts about Monster Hunter World for the PS4 Xbox One, though? Do you like the approach that they have done with this game? Do you like it how it was done in the old way, in the old Monster Hunter games, though? Do you think this game is approachable for newcomers, or you don't think that's the case? Do you like some of the changes they made? Did you hate some of the changes, though? Do you think they could possibly bring this to the Nintendo Switch, or do you think that's not possible at all? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. And feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. It's evening in Southern California, so I'll be getting ready for bed soon. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good evening then.